Here's an example of student work from the past. This student identified with Texas landscapes and chose to go with cactus. And mine is a collage piece with lots of elements that I identify with, such as the Cuban flag, art. This year's name tag piece will be a name tag, and the background will be elements of things you identify with or pieces of your identity. So for instance, I might choose to include symbols or patterns that are found in certain anime like Demon Slayer, or maybe I'm going to put some flowers because I really love flowers. Maybe I put cats. But we're starting with the name portion first and just getting right in. So you must draw your name as a shape like we practiced at the beginning of the year. And then we're using some styluses. A stylus is just going to be a wooden stick, and we will use that to guide the yarn into place. This is not like elementary school with your normal cut and glue projects. It's not ... not a lot. This time it's a lot. You will need a lot of glue for this. So we're going to do all of our outlines first and just establish the boundary that our yarn will fit inside of, and after that you are manipulating the yarn into place. So I'm outlining my E. When you get to places that are a little small and detailed, keep in mind you may only put one string of yarn or two. Since I want this to stand out from the background, it should definitely be at least 2 yarns wide. So I'm going to start right here where the loop comes around and touches the staff on the E. One hand is holding the yarn, the other hand is holding the stylus. So I'm pressing the yarn into the glue very carefully, and I'm holding it maybe 2 or 3 inches above my artwork, making sure that it's not dragging across the glue, and just double checking that everything is in place. So if you ever end up in a situation there's not enough glue, add a little bit more. Now here's where it gets a little tricky, is the curves. So I'm holding the yarn down with one stylus, and then I pulled the yarn with the other, gently guiding it down, and now I'm using 2 styluses to get those corners. So you have to have the opposing force to make sure that it's staying where you want it to. So now I'm looping it all the way around, and before it touches the glue, I want to make sure that I cut my yarn to the size that I need before it lays down in the glue. So I'm kind of eyeballing it to make sure that it fits, and then use my 2 styluses to guide it into place. Now I'm using the end that I snipped off, and I'm adding it right here so that it's just a buffer, because after that it's 2 or 3 yarns wide. So this will just help later. Since I'm using a multicolored yarn, it also doesn't really matter as much. Now if you're using a single colored piece of yarn, it definitely won't, unless you're switching colors. And I apologize, my video recording was doing some weird stuff right here. So again, you're using opposing forces with the hand holding the yarn and the one that's using the stylus. And here I'm just kind of estimating how long the yarn needs to be. I cut it, and then I'm adding the glue and pressing it into place with the stylus. And while we're here, let's just finish out the Y. I don't have a lot of yarn left in my hand, so I want to make sure that I use it all. Now remember, you do need a lot of glue for this. So you've got a couple of options when you're filling in your objects. You can circle around like I'm doing. You can trim straight lines of yarn and have them all straight with no curves. It's up to you. This is your creative freedom to stylize it how you want.